Okay, hi, I'm Faith Richardson, a part of the women's track and field team, and I'm here with
Alysia. I'm the owner of Carefree Cakery, coming in May of 2023 to the Mill District in North Amherst.
Yeah, and we're going to ask Alysia a few questions about her business and who she is. So, first question is, tell us about yourself and your business.
Okay, so I started Carefree Cakery. I've been working on baking forever. Truly, I started when I was in high school. I couldn't find a job, to save my life. So I started making box mix brownies and just taking different box mixes, adding different things like peanut butter swirls and cheesecake swirls. And I was selling them under the table to my friends. It got to the point that even the teachers were starting to buy them. And yeah, that was the most amazing thing. So I just kind of found the thing that spoke to me. But when I got into college, things really changed pretty dramatically because, I kind of felt like I was thrust into the world of you now need to know what you're going to do with your life. And I'm I don't really know. But I did know that growing up, my mom didn't have a lot of money, was raised by a single mom. And so she worked really, really hard to give me the life that I would want for myself. Right. But so it felt like the only way to really repay that kind of effort would be to get a job that makes $1 million. And also combines it with my idea of I really want to help people and take care of people and things like that. So I'm okay, I'm gonna do the right thing. I'm gonna be a doctor. This is genius. This is, a doctor. I am not a doctor. I'm not cut out for that world. I'm not built for it. And I think one of the biggest things I learned in college was just that if you're not chasing something that actually matters to you, you're going to be eaten alive by the people who really do care about it. And so I'm okay, here's what's actually going to happen. I am going to apply for a job at Stop and Shop. I'm going to apply specifically in the bakery department. I'm going to give it my all. And if I get specifically that job, I'll change my major and I will do everything towards opening a bakery. I got the job. And so what I decided to do, because that was really great, okay, I've decided on the career path. But the problem was, in doing this, I was kind of losing that piece that I originally was hoping for of wanting to be able to help people. And that's something that really matters to me a great deal. So what I ended up learning about is that there are a lot of issues with the way that ingredients that we're super familiar with are farmed. So cocoa, vanilla, sugar, but vanilla in particular is really bad when it comes to the way that it actually comes into the world. Oh, okay. So yeah, it's really crazy. So basically what happens is the farmers, vanilla ferments really quickly. So the farmers will grow it. It takes a year to grow. It's a really lengthy process. And then it ferments really fast, just so they can't sell it. They have to sell it really quickly. If they don't, they lose that entire crop that they spent truly over a year trying to grow. So oftentimes these farmers are taken advantage of by middlemen who then go package it and then, prepare it to be sold in the U.S. and everywhere else. So fair trade goods are goods that certify that they're actually paying a living wage to the farmers who are growing these things. Yeah, so I feel that's a really good way to sort of bridge the gap between helping people and doing something that aligns with my skills and my passions.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Thank
you for giving your incredible story.
Sure.
So, what is your favorite part about being a business owner?
Oh boy, I would say my favorite part is being able to have the flexibility and freedom to integrate things that I care about into the way that things are done. I've certainly, I spent, once I got out of college, I started doing the corporate America thing because you have to, got to build the capital to open up a business. Right. So I've been in that place of okay, you need to do this because so-and-so says so, and not because it matters or because it makes sense or anything like that. So having that sort of experience of okay, this doesn't really serve me, but not really having the control to do anything about it is something that I'm really excited to be able to move away from.
Wow, I love that. You know exactly what you want. You go
yes,
after it.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so now, what made you pick this area? And do you want to expand maybe out of Massachusetts or in surrounding areas in Massachusetts?
So I specifically chose the Mill District for a couple of different reasons. Okay. The Mill District, first of all, is a really beautiful community that they're building here. It's really cute, and they have a lot of different things where they put on different events. There's a lot of support between the businesses that are coming up here. Mm-hmm. So there's the obvious draw of you get to build the space completely custom. You're working, you're working with a team of architects who are building it to suit your vision. It's a really great program to be a part of. But the thing that's really great, I think, is that there are also meeting meetings between the different stores that are in here. And it's like, it's a lot more than just like a tenant-landlord sort of relationship.
Right.
They're really trying to build a sense of community and doing things that matter. Like, you know, they had an amazing Pride event for in last June, and there were so many people here and like a swing band. It's a really nice place to be.
That's amazing. Yeah.
In terms of the future, though, that's... I don't want to say I haven't thought that far, because I have, but honestly, to be entirely honest, my only goal for my business is to be a shining example of the fact that success doesn't need to be built on the backs of others. Like, truly, that exploitation is not the only way to get to the top. So as long as I'm able to make the money that I need to survive, and that the business is thriving and people are happy, I feel like I've done that and accomplished that. So maybe plans to expand in the future, but honestly, I just want to get there.
Right. We love that. At UMass, we're really trying to grow that community aspect. And that seems like what you're all about.
100%.
So we'd love to hear about that.
Yeah.
So do you provide like any services to people outside of this area of Massachusetts?
Not outside of Massachusetts necessarily, although I am working pretty closely with the Loomis Chaffee School in Windsor, Connecticut.
Okay.
Yeah, my partner is a teacher there, and so he and I have kind of worked out a lot of things where, like, I'll do things for like the dorms. They have it's a boarding school for high school.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are a couple of dorms where I'll do something for the kids' birthdays every year and stuff like that. But generally speaking, it's all pretty local in terms of where the ingredients are sourced, and also, you know, where the reach is. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So, what have been the greatest challenges in, you know, starting your business, keeping it going?
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely. I would say that my biggest challenges, a lot of them are internal, honestly. I would definitely say that, you know, the way that I've grown up, the way that I'd always been taught is that, you know, being a person of color, being a woman, you know, people are going to expect that you're less able to be able to do certain things compared to others. And sort of having that in the back of my mind, like, okay, you know, how much is good enough? How much is enough? You know, and so like having that sort of following me around has definitely led me to be, I think it is a weakness in that, or like it is a challenge in that it makes things more difficult. But it also leads to a lot of my greatest strengths, because if the goalposts are always moving, I'm also always trying to better myself every day.
Right.
So like, you know, anytime people come in, they can always expect my best, because that's all I know how to give.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's something at UMass, we are trying to recognize our differences, but also recognize that those differences aren't supposed to separate us. They're supposed to make us stronger, and we're supposed to celebrate them. So
Absolutely.
I love that you have that. What has been your biggest success?
So I would say my biggest success has been, so first of all, Carefree Cakery was fully funded by Common Capital.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was, I mean, you have to give a 10% injection, cash injection to be able to do it. But the loan was funded through Common Capital, which was a really extensive process of building out the business plan, you know, getting everything down to the letter, every piece of equipment, you know, every square foot of the store, because I needed to tell them how, you know, commercial rent is charged by the square foot. So having that understanding of, okay, you know, being able to project how much are my utilities going to be, you know, what equipment do I need, what don't I need, what sort of considerations do I need to make, building in a gluten-free prep and storage space, because it's really complicated, because like, especially with gluten-free, because flour, unlike other allergens, goes airborne. And it hangs out in the air for up to 24 hours. So like, yeah, so like,
would have thought of that.
right, yeah, and you know, who would, right? But it's a lot. And so, you know, just breaking down the different layers on a surface level, it seems relatively simple. Like, everybody knows opening a business is hard, but like, I'll give you an example. This is the most ridiculous thing. I spent 2.5 hours the other day because I was trying to get a glass bakery case. Just want to display some cupcakes in a glass box. Pretty clean. So I had a glass contractor, and they were like, okay, how big does this case need to be? And so, like, simple question, right? Except what that means is, how many flavors do I have? How big are the cupcakes? How big are the trays that the cupcakes are sitting on? How wide does it need to be? How high does it need to be? How many shelves do I need in order to store them all? And so truly, exactly, to answer this one question of how big do you want this box to be, turned into a 2.5 hour project, because I was like, well, geez, how big does it need to be? And so like, and that's just been true for the entire process. It's just like everything has so many layers to it. Not just like, oh my gosh. So yeah, definitely a lot of that. So
yeah, every step is an accomplishment.
Yeah, everything. So yeah, the fact that I'm here. Yeah.
Wow. Well, since you've had all these accomplishments, and since you're doing this, you're living your dream, and you're also helping your community, what advice would you give to future like business owners?
Sure. I would honestly say, so the first thing, the biggest thing is that doing anything of this magnitude is going to be draining. So the biggest thing I can always say to people is that find something that drives you.
I love that.
Yeah. So like, for me, it's multiple things because I love to bake. I love to see the smiles on people's faces when they eat something delicious. I love to experiment with new recipes. I love to take care of my community. And so like being able to find a way to combine all of those things gives me what I need to continue to pursue it, because I wouldn't necessarily have the time and energy to devote to a 2.5-hour case project if I wasn't really living and loving the things that I'm trying to put out. So definitely doing that. And the other biggest thing that I would tell anybody is don't be afraid to learn. Make your mistakes. I have made so many mistakes. Sometimes people will ask me like, where did you learn to decorate cakes? And I'm just like, I'm self-taught, but like I've learned more from my mistakes than anything else. That's what it means to be self-taught. Right. You fail, and sometimes you come out with something amazing by mistake. So also that, and also just like other places too, like other people. I've worked in different bakeries for sure. That's always great. But like, I've learned a lot from my time working at Sherwin-Williams. I sold paint for 5 years. 5 years, yeah, something like that. And there was, I learned a lot about how to interact with people and build relationships. Everything you do, everyone you meet is an opportunity to learn. So don't lose sight of those.
Wow. Thank you so much for showing us how to break barriers. And
sure.
We really appreciate getting the chance to talk to you.
Absolutely.